Hello guys, it's Sharif here with Endgadget. I'm holding a Nexus 10 which has the touch developer preview, the very early preview build of Ubuntu for tablets, which will be available tomorrow for everyone who wants to try it to download, particularly for developers. And I'm joined by Richard from Canonical.
Hello.
Richard, people will be wondering if they do this on their Nexus 7, on their Nexus 10, or even on their smartphone, what is involved in actually flashing Ubuntu to the device, and how easy will it be to go back?
So the approach we're taking is to allow people that have this hardware available to completely override the existing Android system with the tools and the process that we're allowing to do that. So there's a full and detailed instructions in terms of how that can be done. But effectively, users, and we're looking at asking primarily developers to install this directly from the website to allow them to run it directly on their existing hardware.
And to go back?
To go back, they simply just need, there's a well-documented information that we can provide that's available from our site, as well as the Google site as well, to allow them to reinstall the Android ROM.
Okay, I'm also joined by Oren, lead designer of Tablet Ubuntu. And Oren, you're going to show us what people will see when they first have flashed their Nexus device, and what they'll be confronted with. And we're going to sort of try and understand what works and what doesn't, and the limitations, because obviously this is a very early build. So here's your welcome screen.
Right. The first thing they will see is our welcome screen, and the first thing on the welcome screen is the infographics that you're familiar with from the phone. This is a personal representation of your digital life. And next to it on the left, you'll see actually our multi-user account handling. You can actually switch between different accounts, and you can have different infographics for different accounts. They're all secure and encrypted. So once you actually want to log into an account, I'm going to demo it on the guest account. Swiping, our model is basically based on gestures and using the edges, and you notice that there are no controls here. So an edge swipe from the right will basically remove the welcome screen and bring you back to your previously watched screen, and that would be an app, for example. Whereas a swipe from the left will actually bring in the launcher, and the launcher would actually allow you to launch a specific application, go directly into that application. In this case, I'm just going to go directly into the home screen. So this is our home screen. Our home screen is actually divided into sections. We have basically multiple sections on content and interest, but you'll notice one thing, that the phone basically scales beautifully to the tablet. This is all responsive design, and everything just takes into place. And when we have space, we use it. So you can actually see, for example, this carousel here that is actually running on the home screen. Now, if I swipe to the left, I will see actually our music section.
Yep.
And then the people section. Again, there's the carousel, and you can see that in the carousel we have this feature that we call preview. A preview allows you to kind of dive into a content and see it directly on your home screen. In this case, I'm looking into Florian's and giving me a bit of like an update on his life, his social activity.
So we're looking at sample data here, and likewise people that flash this will be looking at sample data. Sometimes they'll be able to put in their own data, their own videos, for example, but other times there's restrictions because your native apps can't run some things. So let's try and understand. On the music, so with people, this will be sample data. This will be profiles actually of the engineering team that they'll see.
Right, engineering and design team.
It won't sync up to their Google contacts or anything.
No, not on. This is a developer preview, and we just want to showcase the design.
Okay, and if we switch back, music again will be sample data. Right. If people wanted to put locally stored music on, currently that won't work?
I am not too familiar with how the backend story works about putting the device. Probably the thing is that at the moment we're not going to release a music player. We're just releasing a video player.
I see.
So this will be the major limitation for actually handling the content on the device.
If I come back, so that's your home, which is like the aggregation of so people and music, recent music. The home is the aggregation, and then if I move to this side, that's my apps. And again, videos. And so videos is an example of something that will work with locally stored data.
Right.
If you can get a video on an MPEG file, you can run it in here.
Right, that's true. You can actually put it on the device and run. Another thing that can work, I'll show that later. Another thing that will work is photos. You can actually put your photos into the photo repository and launch gallery. Whilst doing so, you'll be able to view your photos in this beautiful view. This is the Events tab. It's organized on your timeline, and then you can actually browse events, which are specific kind of occurrences of photos on the horizontal vector. Another thing that we'll be able to do is you'll be able to create albums, and you'll be able to watch and flip those albums. So if I can now actually flip pages between albums, you'll be able to do that with your own photos. You'll be able to customize also the cover of the album and write basically the entries of the album. I'll let people discover that later on.
If I want to then come out of this, I mean, the idea is that thumbs really, I shouldn't be reaching across like this. The idea is that with your thumb, you should be able to take us back to, so if I was to do this, I've got my tray.
So if you kind of use the edges, again, let's look into the edges. So left edge swipe will bring you the launcher. That's just a quick way to launch and switch application. But I can also leave my finger on the launcher, and I can jump between applications, right? So I can go to the home screen, and I can use the right edge swipe to bring in the launcher. Then what you see here on the right is basically what we call the side stage.
Oh yeah, so this is something I wanted to explain to people. So because the smartphone app and the tablet app, they're running from the same code, you can actually run a smartphone tailored app, you know, something built for the size of a smartphone on this screen. And that's what you call side stage. So give us a realistic example then of how we could make use of that.
Right, this is an example of actually we have the telephony application. It's running in the side stage. It's basically the phone, the ability to make phone calls and send SMSs and messages. So that all obviously depends on your hardware, whether your hardware supports SMSs or not. But if your hardware does support that, there will be an ability to do that. You can just make calls from your side stage, from your phone application on the side stage. Just send SMSs. You can search contacts, and you can also create new messages and send them to people once. And in this tablet, for example, we don't have support for SMSs, so you won't be able to do that.
Sure.
But the side stage, the main idea on the side stage is that you can put two apps to work together, right? So in this case, I'm watching gallery, but if I need to take a call or send a quick SMS, I don't need to leave gallery, go to the home and launch a new application. I can just do that from the side stage.
While we're looking at images, the HUD, the HUD, from which you can access voice control.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So the HUD is basically an idea of how you can actually increase do advanced productivity on the tablet and basically allow access for infinite functionality. So I'll demonstrate what we mean by that. So here we have a photo, and imagine that I want to do some manipulation to the photo. So obviously on a tablet, I'll be limited with how much kind of tools and filters and so on I can put on a tablet. So we developed this interface called the HUD. The HUD allows you basically to retrieve that functionality using search. Let me demo that. Color balance. So I launched the color balance filter, and I can just now tweak the contrast and saturation of the photo, brightness, and hue. Confirm that, and the new image will be saved, and I have a new image that replaces.
Thank you. There's one more thing to look at, which is if we go back to the apps screen. So if we swipe from the home screen and we go to see your app screen. Now, what apps can, obviously the idea is to encourage developers to be making their own apps for this. Web apps will run on here and to be able to access web data, but some native apps have problems like the music player, it's not ready yet. But what about apps from that are made for Ubuntu for ARM? There's no way to get those running on this tablet because there are many Ubuntu for ARM apps already available.
Right, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
So there are a lot of applications available that will run on ARM. We haven't included them with this developer build simply because we want to focus developers' attention on creating new applications for this particular part of the build. But in terms of our product roadmap, there is a whole category of applications which run very well on the desktop, which will be equally applicable to run on this device once we get to that product phase.
Okay, thank you, Richard and Oren. Thank you for your time.